All right, here we go. We have legendary actor Leon in the building.
What's going on?
Man, everything good. Long-time fan. Long-time fan.
I appreciate.
Five Heartbeats is like one of my favorite all-time movies, hands down.
Yeah, the one thing about the Five Heartbeats is one of those movies that if you know about it, you love it.
Yep. And that movie actually has a very interesting history, which we'll get into because I just watched a documentary.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's very good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, extremely good.
Yeah, definitely.
Extremely good. Well, your first time here, I want to get into the whole story. So you grew up in New York City.
I was born in Mount Sinai Hospital right here in Manhattan, where my mom worked at the time. I was raised in Mount Vernon in the Bronx and living in Manhattan for the last couple of decades.
Okay, now when you talk about the Bronx in the 60s and 70s, it's very different than the Bronx of 2020.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think almost everything's different except for some parts of Manhattan. I think the demographics, who lives there, whose parents live there is a lot different than before. A lot of people have moved away. I think that's one of the problems we have with cities in general, specifically cities like New York, San Francisco, places where real estate has gotten to just be so outrageous. We're starting to lose our native New Yorkers. And when you lose the native New Yorkers, you're losing the city. Your city becomes a bunch of transit or implants. And, that's one of the things I've always wished that there was some sort of a system and everywhere that people who actually grew up and lived someplace actually should get a discount, whether it be on taxes, property or whatever, that encourages them to stay home.
Well, yeah, New York has that to a certain degree. They have rent control, in every in a high rise I used to live in, part was rent controlled. So there's people with lower income that are allowed to live in that building.
There is rent control and that is great. And there's not enough of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So here you are growing up in New York City and you went to Mount St. Michael Academy?
Yep. Across the street from my house.
Okay. And back then you were a basketball player.
Yes, without a doubt.
Okay. And you were pretty raw from what I understand.
I did my thing. That's for sure.
Okay. And at that point, did you know you wanted to act at all or not really?
When I was in grade school, Mount Vernon, we put on this production that I saw my sister's high school class do. It was Rock and Roll Revival. So we did it instead of this corny variety show. And I convinced the nuns to let us do it. And I played Chubby Checker. My other friend played Elvis Presley. And the cute girls played the Andrews Sisters. And it was held over 2 more nights because people loved it. But when I went to Mount St. Michael's, there was no drama department then. So I just excelled in athletics. But, for some reason, I always had that, that thing where I wanted to go to California. So I was only looking at schools and visited schools or scholarships that were in California.
Okay. And you went to Loyola Marymount University.
Exactly.
Okay. And when you got there, I guess you were just running around campus and like a student filmmaker asked you to be in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. And, and I said to him, why don't you get somebody in the theater arts department? I'm sure they would love to be in your movie. And he was like, no, there's something about you. I've been observing you. I'm a director and you're going to be in the movies one day and I want to be the first person to do it. So, I just said, yeah, okay. And I went and did it and had that familiar feeling that, that this is where I was supposed to be. So I switched and became a drama major.
Okay. And you graduated?
No, I didn't graduate. I just started working.
Okay. And your first film was All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise.
Right.
Okay. And how did you get that film? How did you go from just being, one of the struggling actors in LA to actually getting a major film like that?
The first couple of things that were happening were just like kind of destined to be. I heard they were what happened? My agent sent me on a casting that was going to happen in New York while I was home. And I said, well, I'll go home and I'll go into casting. And I just went and read. There was a bunch of people there. And I remember they said, can you stick around? We want to read some actresses to play your girlfriend. Now, I'm pretty new, so like I don't know what that really means, you know. So and we don't, and at the time we don't have like cell phones, just pick up the phone and call somebody. So you know, after a while I had to realize, okay, I'm the one getting the role if they're reading girls to play opposite me. So yeah, that was interesting. And then, you know, even the next movie after that was the same exact thing. It was like it was just like it was immediate, you know.
Okay. In All the Right Moves with Tom Cruise, do you have any idea how big of an actor he was going to be, today?
No, but I knew that he would be. I mean, I knew he was very dedicated. He's very dedicated to his craft, very dedicated to being, you know, who he was going to be in the movies. And he was a very hard worker always. And that it was something that was very evident. Yeah.
Okay. Then the next film you did was Flamingo Kid in '84.
Yes, my buddy Matt Dillon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Another, big budget theatrical release film.
Yeah, you know, it was actually it was one the best reviewed movie of that year. It was a really good movie. I guess it was got 2 Golden Globe nominations for Richard Crenna and Hector Elizondo. Yeah, it was, you know, it was yeah, it actually got screwed, I guess, at the box office because it came out and it was doing okay, but they had another movie, 20th Century Fox. It was actually their movie. I think they were distributing that movie for ABC. So they, you know, when they moved that out to theaters to put in, I forgot what movie it was, but which didn't even do that well. But the movie was very well received. Yeah.